success. Whether you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, or a salesperson who is entrepreneurial, you are in the right place, because we're going to talk about what you need to know to really have sales success. Before we start, I have a disclaimer. And that disclaimer is that I am an entrepreneur, and I can't help myself. I was born this way. Long before I knew what an entrepreneur was, I was starting things. Oh, not that. Hang on. No, not that. But I was a catalyst. So I just want these slides to advance. Hang on. There we go. So I was a catalyst, and I was thinking up lots of things, stirring the pot and making things happen. And I'll tell you, I'm not going to bore you with all of the things I've started, because you can go to my LinkedIn page, you can go to my website, you can read my bio, and you can learn all about the things that I've done and what makes me a sales expert. And I'm really sick of being on webinars where the person talks about themselves for an hour and telling you how great they are and how much money they made and how you can be like them. Instead of me doing that, I'm going to trust that you can get on LinkedIn or my website, read my bio, and get the information you need about me, what I've started, and what I do. I am considered a sales expert, and the reason is simple. I help companies increase their sales and grow to the level that they want to grow to. And so with that in mind, I want to just get to the information that you need. But I will tell you that being a catalyst can sometimes be a little bit tough, because, and being an entrepreneur, as you know, as well, some people consider me bossy, especially when I was young, and some people still do. However, the important thing is that they follow. And so as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, as a business owner, as a salesperson, you need people to follow you. You need to make sure that you're delivering a message and you look like a leader and that people want to follow you. So I'm going to turn the video off just for a few minutes now. It's a little bit distracting for me, and I'll put it back on when I'm asking you some questions a little bit later. So how many of you consider yourself an entrepreneur? Here's what I want you to do. If you are definitely an entrepreneur, I want you to write definitely into the chat. If you're not sure, write not sure. If you are definitely not an entrepreneur, go ahead and write no with an exclamation point. Now, being an entrepreneur doesn't mean you have to own a business. Some business owners are entrepreneurs. All entrepreneurs, and some entrepreneurs own a business, but not all are both. Some entrepreneurial salespeople do not own a business, but they are very entrepreneurial. And so I just want you to keep that in mind. You don't have to own a business to be entrepreneurial. So I see a lot of definitely's coming in, and good. Absolutely, definitely, 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 definitely. All right. Well, so you're in the right place. Okay. This is important. It's important to know that about yourself. But here's another thing you need to know. Entrepreneur does not equal good at sales. And that's kind of the secret, or the thing that we really don't want to tell people. We don't want to admit that we're not good at sales. I mean, after all, we own a business, or maybe we're in sales, but we're not as good as we could be. We're pretty good at it, or we're not as good as we could be. Or, you know, the real secret is, I don't really know anything about sales. I'm not even sure how to make it all happen. And that is okay. It doesn't have to be a secret anymore, because it's not expected, okay? You know, just like being an entrepreneur is a mindset, being good at sales starts with a mindset, and then you have to learn the skills. So if entrepreneur does not equal good at sales, hang on, let me see if I can get the PowerPoint to change. My question for you is, do you know everything you need to about sales to increase the sales to the level that you want? So if you know everything you need to know about sales to increase the level that you want, type in I do. If you're not sure, type in I'm not sure. And if you definitely don't know everything you need to about sales, then put I don't. and it's perfectly okay. And I see a lot of I don'ts. You've got to be kidding me. Definitely. Okay. Well, good. So here's the thing. Who taught you sales anyway? I mean, did you learn it in school? I didn't. I didn't learn it in grade school. I didn't learn it in high school. And I certainly didn't learn it in college. You know, out of all the thousands and thousands of colleges in the entire United States, only 100 of them offer any sales classes. And some of those actually do offer several courses in sales or, you know, some kind of credential in it. But mostly, no one teaches you sales. So how did you learn it? So go ahead and type in, how did you learn sales? Did you learn it from watching someone? Did you learn it just by doing what you thought would be the right thing? Or, you know, we've all been sold to and we know what we don't like. How did you learn sales? I see winging it, a trial and error, just following other people. My dad was a dentist, someone said, and did customer service. I studied strategic selling, good. On-the-job training, classes, observation. Anybody ever read a book on sales? It's like, oh gosh, I have to do sales. I don't know how to do it. I'll read a book on sales. So that's a way that people learn sales as well. So you can learn whatever you need to about sales. Basically, you just have to be willing to learn. And if you're willing to learn, you know, again, there's plenty of books. There's people who can teach you. You can shadow people who are good at sales. There's lots of ways to learn. But the key to that is, and anything worth learning, you have to practice. Now, it's a funny thing about sales because people just, like I heard someone say, wing it, you know. Well, winging it can work some of the time, but it's not going to work all of the time. And so practice is what will make you excel. It will make you excel at any sport. It will make you excel at anything that you want to do. If you want to be a public speaker, you practice, you get better at it, you'll excel at it. And so with sales, you absolutely have to practice. But there's one more piece. Practice without feedback is insufficient. So I play tennis, not as good as this girl, look at those muscles, but I don't get much better at tennis because I just go out and play on Monday nights. I'm not really trying to get much better at it. But if I wanted to get better at it, I would have to practice and I would have to get feedback from someone, because if I just keep hitting the ball wrong, which is what I do now, and it goes too far or doesn't go where I want it to, I don't know how to correct that. So practice without feedback is insufficient. Everyone needs a coach. So those are two essential things if you really want to get better at sales. If you want to be the best, if you want your company to have more sales, to double, to triple, then what you have to do is practice with feedback. And in order to do that, you need a coach. You need somebody to help you. So at this point, I want to ask you, what are your questions about sales? Think about your own business or the sale that you make. What are your questions? And I want you to just go ahead and type those in, because I really want to hear what your biggest questions are. Are they, how do I triple my sales? How do I hire a salesperson? How do I manage a salesperson? How do I talk to people in a way that helps them understand I want to learn about them rather than just pitch? How do I get more leads? Let's see what people are sending in to us. Go ahead and type in your questions about sales. Looking to see if we have any. What are your biggest questions about sales? All right, they're starting to come in. Let me see. Hiring is the question, the mix of work ethic, personality, technical skills, and interests. Boy, I'll tell you, hiring is a big one. There's a lot of pieces to that, and sometimes we really have to set our sales up before we can start hiring people. Or I always tell business owners, you have to be the best salesperson you can be before you can start hiring salespeople. And you have to learn how to be a sales manager. Otherwise, you're going to have to hire a sales manager and salespeople in order to really, increase your sales. So that's a whole ball game, and I'll be happy to talk to you offline about that. We can schedule a time, and we can talk specifically about hiring because that is a really tough one. Let's see if I can find some more questions. Hang on. I wish I could make this box a little bit bigger. It's so teeny tiny, I can't see it. How do I increase sales in a primarily service business? And that's a big question as well. If you are the only one that is, like me, I sell and deliver. So how can you increase sales in a primarily service business? Well, you have to find another person that you can train to deliver more, or you have to figure out how to take your knowledge and put it online somehow so that people can get that 24/7 even when you're not available. Now, of course, it depends what kind of service business it is. I don't. If you can give me some more specifics about that, I can help you with that. But when you're a solopreneur, the only thing you can do is raise your prices, right? Work more hours, or you have to take your content and your information and you have to put it online somewhere so somebody can pay for it and access it even when you are not available. Those are some of the ways. Of course, you can always hire and train someone else to do what you do. So let me find a couple more questions. How do I add value that is so attractive people want to do business with me? Well, that's a great question, and I guess it depends what you're selling. But you really need to think about what your customers want. So I go ask people. I ask my current customers, what do you want? How can I add value? I ask people who haven't purchased from me yet, how can I add value? You could do a focus group. You could do that online, or you could actually do that in person. But adding value isn't about what you think is valuable. Adding value is about what they think is valuable. So that's the most important thing when you're trying to add value. You want to package things up in a way that people feel they're getting a lot for their money. So that's a way that you can do that. All right, let me see if I can find some more questions. They're so tiny. One more, let's see. How do I get to the decision maker in the most effective way? Well, everybody wants to get to the decision maker, of course. And depending on what kind of sale you have, in a business-to-business sale, there can be many people involved in making a decision. And so it's never easy to just pinpoint. And today, one person doesn't make the decision by themselves necessarily. They may have a committee or a team that they're working with. So the best way to get to the decision maker is figure out, of course, who it is first, and you do that by asking. What I find is a lot of people are afraid to ask questions because they think they're going to put somebody off or the person won't want to do business with them. But what I find is when you're very straightforward and ask the questions in a polite way, people will answer them. And if they don't, you know that they're not interested in moving forward with the sale. So with my sale, for example, I need to talk to the business owner. That's the person who's going to write my check. So they're easy to spot. I can make a list of businesses, I can figure out who the owner is, and I can talk directly to the owner, or I can get someone else at the company, maybe a director of sales or director of ops, to introduce me to that owner. But that's pretty easy ones. If you're selling to big companies, then you have to figure out who all the possible decision makers are. And I highly recommend approaching all of them simultaneously so you don't get to one person who blocks you and says, don't call anybody else, I'm the only person that you want to talk to. So in a complex sale, you really need to figure out who all the people are that are going to be helping to make the decision and contact each of them and talk with each of them. The main thing I think with any of this is you almost have to stop selling and start learning. Because if you start with your pitch, hi, let me tell you all about me and what I've got and how I'm going to help you, people are turned off instantly. We have to start with who are you, what do you need, how do you operate in the world, how can I help you, how can I reach your goals. So really learning about these people is the most important thing, asking them questions, interviewing them, getting to know them, figuring out exactly what you can do to help them. But what happens most of the time is people start pitching before they even know if the person can buy anything. And of course, no one likes that. So what you have to do is learn about them and learn whether your solution is going to be good for them or not. And if it's not, don't pitch it. Don't sell to them. Say, you know, I don't think I can help you. But if you do know anyone who needs what I do, I'll be happy to chat with them. And I do that often. I go in to talk to business owners all the time, not really knowing whether I can help them or not. I mean, most business owners want to increase their sales, right? So you think that that would just be a simple thing. But it's not always that simple, and increasing sales doesn't always come first. So I just need to talk with them, learn about them, find out what their goals are, what they want to accomplish, how their world works, what their challenges are, and then I can help them decide whether someone like me would be useful. And I think the big mistake we make when we have to sell widgets, products, things, is we got to sell a lot of these. So I've got to get in and tell as many people about it as I can because I need to sell a whole bunch. And that doesn't always work. All right, let's see. Where do you draw the line between helping and giving away too much info for free as an entrepreneur? Wow, that's a big one. I'll tell you, I give away a lot. And sometimes I do think I give away too much. But I think it's okay to tell people what they need to do and save the how to do it for when they're paying you. So that's one way to draw the line. But in my ebooks and on my blog, I tell people exactly what I'm going to tell them in person and exactly what I'm going to help them set up at their company. I give away as much information that way as I can because it doesn't take a lot of my time. But when people ask me, you know, can I pick your brain, can I take you to lunch, you know, that kind of thing, and they just want to learn from me and maybe not really sure if they're going to pay me or not, that's okay. I just have to think about how much I should tell them. And mostly what I really do is just ask questions. Then I don't have to give a lot away at all. I'm asking questions that make them think about their business and make them think about what I do in a way that might lead to us having a conversation about how I can specifically help them. So that is a fine line, but I err on the side of giving away, especially when it doesn't require my time. So if I can send them an email, or if it's already written, I can send them to a blog post, I can send them an ebook, a white paper, something like that, send them to something online, a video, great, give it away. People can't do a lot of what you can do anyway. That's why, you know, that's why I'm in business. People can't, I tell them what to do and they still can't do it. They need my help because you need practice with feedback and a coach to really be successful quickly. You could probably do it another way, but it's slow. And I don't want it to be slow and painful. I want people to get what they want and get it fast. So let's see. Let me see if I can just look at a couple more questions here. Good sales manager training is babysitting. Yes, sometimes being a sales manager feels like babysitting. I'm not sure what your question is there, but you need to consistently meet with people and be firm and hold them accountable. And if you do that, they will either improve or self-select out. And it is a lot like babysitting. There is absolutely no doubt about it. All right, so let's see. I've got another question here. Is it really about finding qualified lists of potential customers? The qualification questions need to be answered first. Then these can be turned into leads, subsequent conversations. Okay, So qualified leads, that's an interesting thing. If your marketing team can bring you qualified leads, hallelujah. There are lots of ways to do that, and good marketing people know how to do it. They put information out there, they put the brand out there, they draw people to you who sign up for a white paper, sign up for a free conversation, sign up for whatever they sign up. They can answer a few different questions, and you can somewhat qualify them. But every company needs a list of qualifying questions. You know, what's your timeline? What's your budget? Who's going to make the decision? How is it going to be made? When do you need it implemented? Those questions qualify to let you know whether this person is going to be a good fit. And of course, also you have to ask them questions about their need to see if it's a good fit. But you need all of those questions to be answered. If marketing can get you people who are ready, you know, I'm interested and I'm going to buy what you sell, I just don't know if I'm going to buy it from you, fantastic. That would be great. Getting a list of qualified customers is hard to do. How do you know that they're qualified before you talk to them? So when I'm at networking events, when I hold, you know, 15 or 30-minute meetings to talk to people, again, I'm asking them questions and learning about them before I pitch to see if they're qualified. But if marketing can do any of that for you, or if you can do it for yourself online somehow, that's great. If people want to have a conversation with me, I have 3 or 4 questions they need to answer before we have that conversation. That helps qualify and give me more information about them. But yes, real people qualify leads. The internet can't do all of it, but it can definitely help. Let's see, how do you build referral teams and alliances? Great, well, referrals are really important. Everyone can build their business on referrals, especially if you have something that people are only going to buy once, or, you know, when they're done using your service, they're done and they don't need it again. So referrals are really important. Everyone should have a full-on process that should be written down and trained. Everyone in your company should be trained to get referrals. There's no reason not. Even your accounting department can get referrals. Even, you know, the people who do customer service, the delivery people, whatever. Everyone can be trained to get referrals. If you do a great job, people want to give you referrals, but they have to be asked. Most people just don't go around going, oh my gosh, that Alice, she's so fantastic, I'm going to tell everybody about her. Oh, you should buy from her. They don't do it. So you have to ask them. And you have to ask them at the right time in the right way, and you have to ask them more than once. And so you need a good referral process. There are some blogs on my smartsalestips.com that talk about referrals. And so, again, you have to have a process that has to work for your company, and it has to be comfortable. Not, hey, can you give me a referral? That rarely ever works. So I usually say to people something like, I really enjoy working with you, and I wish I had 10 more customers just like you. Who else do you know that could benefit from my services that you could introduce me to? It's got to be something like that, and it's got to be at the right time and with the right words, and you have to use your words because my words won't work for you. If you feel awkward, you're not going to get a referral. So I suggest building a referral process. Okay, I'm going to take one more question, and then I'm going to save some more till the end. Let's see, a salesperson once said to me, I'd like to qualify even if I'm even able to help you out. Very forthright. Yes, sure, absolutely. You can, you know, just be honest with people. I mean, that's the thing. I think sales has gotten a bad name. It's some kind of trickery and manipulation. We think about used car salespeople who say to you, oh, this price is only good today. You know, if you walk off the lot, you can never have that price again. Well, that's all gone by the wayside because I can go on the internet and buy a car. I don't even need them anymore. Be nice. Be genuine. Talk to people. Listen to people. Ask them questions. Learn about them. That's, you know, that's the best thing I can tell you in sales is be genuine. Be nice. Be helpful. Care about them. Care about their goals. Care about others. All right? So, gosh, you guys have a lot of questions about sales, which is great. And I can help answer many, many more of those. I'll tell you more about that in a minute in an upcoming online training that we're going to be doing. Okay, so I'm going to turn this webcam off again for a minute. Sharing, there we go. So hang on, and I am going to figure this out. Yeah, and Chris just said, think about making your customer your friend. I mean, it doesn't have to be your best friend, but I mean, like, you know, a personal friend, but you should think about your business friends, okay? How can you make these people into friends that, you know, using the definition of a friend is someone you care about, a friend is someone you help, a friend, you know, it's not all about you, it's about both of you. And to have win-win relationships, you do need to treat people with a lot of respect and a lot of care and just be genuine. I think that's probably the most important thing. All right, well, I have been working with entrepreneurs for a very, very long time. And I think since, gosh, even before 1997 when I started my own company. I was with Miller Heiman for about 3 years before that. And prior to that, I was a public school teacher. Some of you may not know that. So I was all about helping people learn. And I take that into my sales. I take that into what I do now. And so as I work with entrepreneurs and business owners and salespeople, I'm very concerned about helping them and what I can do to make their life better and easier. And over all the years that I've worked with entrepreneurs, starting in the .com time, you know, now we call it the .bomb. I mean, I worked with a lot of senior executives who fled from companies like Coca-Cola and GE Capital and Hewlett-Packard, and they went out to start their own companies, and they got venture capital, and, you know, it was all going to be fabulous, and of course, most of them failed. But all that time, and up until now, these people have the same concerns, and I want to see if you have them too. So I'm going to mention a few of them, and then I'm just going to ask you to answer yes or no. I don't have enough time to sell. Yes or no? Go ahead and type it in. I don't have enough time to sell. No, I don't have enough time to sell. Yes, I have plenty of time to sell. Okay, most people are saying no. A few are saying yes. So we all wish we had more time to sell. But it's one of those things. And if you prioritize and focus, you'll have plenty of time to sell. But it's an age-old concern. If I'm a business owner, I wear many hats. I have to do the bookkeeping. I have to make the products flow. I have to take care of the taxes and take care of everything that business owners do, empty the trash, whatever it is. So how do you get enough time to sell? Some people are telling me I'd get better results if I made time to sell. Great. Another concern, I don't know what my salespeople are doing, but they aren't selling enough. Yeah, and so I want you to say, yes, it's true, I don't know what my salespeople are doing. Or no, I know what my salespeople are doing. So if you have salespeople, and if you don't have salespeople, if you're the only one, then of course you know what you're doing, or sometimes you don't. You get to the end of the day and you say, what did I do all day? I didn't have time to sell. I didn't do any selling, but I don't know what I did all day. So I don't know what my salespeople are doing, but they aren't selling enough. That could be you, yourself. All right. There's never enough time to sell and do all the other things I have to do. If you're the business owner, is that true? Right, true. There's never enough time to sell and do all the other things I have to do. Put true in there if that's true for you. I see a lot of truths coming in. Some people are false, but that's good. All right. We aren't selling enough. Is that a concern for you? Right? Yes. We aren't selling enough. How about I can't produce an accurate forecast? All right, raise your hand right now if you can produce an accurate forecast every month, month after month after month. Raise your hand if you're a salesperson or if you're the owner. Raise your hand if you can produce an accurate forecast every month. All right, problem is no hands are going up, right? Why? Okay, one person put a hand up, 2, 3, 4 out of, I don't know, 100 or something. So if you can't produce an accurate forecast, how are you going to grow your business? How are you going to know if you have the money to pay your bills, right? We need to produce an accurate forecast. It's a concern of most of the business owners that I work with and the salespeople that I work with. We're stuck at X million. How do we get beyond that? Or we're stuck at 100,000, or we're stuck at whatever number you're stuck at, okay? And you can't figure out how to get beyond that with your sales. I mean, we can consistently do this number, but we can't get beyond it. Raise your hand if that's you. stuck at this number, can't get beyond it. You know, for people like me who sell and deliver, there's only so many hours in a day, and I can only raise my price so high. So it's very easy to get stuck. That's when you have to start thinking, can I hire another person to do what I do? Can I put my products and services online so people can buy them whenever they want to? All right. Are there other huge concerns that you have that I didn't mention here? I think some of you said hiring. How do I know when it's time to hire a salesperson, and how do I hire a good one? Sometimes I get to a company to work with them and they've already been through 5 or 6 salespeople or 3 or 4 sales managers, and they just don't understand it. They don't understand why it doesn't work. Any other concerns? Let's see, I've got one. Getting through to my customers and prospects is a big concern. All right. So how do you get through to them? You have to find them. So big concerns. Got to talk to them, got to get them on the phone. Got to do sometimes what I do is I don't call them, again, to sell them anything. I'm calling them to learn. All right, I've got another one here. Hang on. How to balance manufacturing and running a store. Oh, boy, that's a big one. That's, again, you need to get your calendar out. You need to plot the time on your calendar and figure out when you're going to do what, and then decide if you've got to have more people working for you or not. Getting to the next tier of potential clients and referring industries is our next challenge, right? So that, and again, you know, the time that you are going to spend delivering the goods versus working with the people who can refer you, talking to them on a regular basis, getting to know them better and what they need so you can move into that next tier is important. So managing sales, even if you're the only seller, is the key. Once you learn to manage sales, everything changes. So I've helped some companies, and I'm helping some right now, where I go in and there is no sales strategy. There is no sales process. Everybody's just doing. They're just doing. They're just, okay, we go out and find a few people and sell to them. We knock on some doors. We make some phone calls. We produce the stuff and deliver it, but there's no strategy around it. And so what I want to say to you is you need a winning strategy. You need to sit down and take the time to write out what your sales strategy is. First of all, what's your goal? So right now, on a piece of paper, all of you, you know, or on the back of your hand or on the back of a napkin, what is your goal? That's where the strategy starts. We want to hit 5 million, you know, in 2 years from now. We just want to make $100,000 this year. We want to be a $50 million company by 2020. You know, what is your big goal for your business? What do you want to do? And then we can strategize around that by figuring out why you want to do that and what drives that and who's going to follow you into that. So that strategy becomes really important, and you have to take a look at your competition and what they're doing and their products and services and all of the things that you're going to need to shore up your strategy so that you can then decide which tactics are best. Should we do an internet approach? You know, and on that internet approach, should we do pay-per-click or should we do advertisements or what should we do? Well, I don't know the answer to that until you have a strategy. The strategy dictates, should I have 1 salesperson or 10 salespeople? I don't know. If 1 person can carry $1 million quota and you want to be a $10 million company, you might need 10 salespeople. But I don't know until I know what your strategy is. And if you willy-nilly go hiring people and buying advertising and doing things without the strategy, you are going to have a really tough time. So strategy is the first thing that you absolutely need. You've got to know your goal, your big, big goal. And then you need a formula to exceed your goals. So you've got this strategy, which contains one big goal for your company, and then you've got to put all the smaller goals down that you're going to need to hit that big goal. So if the big goal is to be a $50 million company by 2020, one of the goals might be to put a sales process in place, to buy a CRM system, to hire 3 salespeople. And you're going to need to know how to get that done. Many, many people write their goals down, but they don't meet them because they don't have a formula. They don't know how to actually hit that goal. And so that's a critical piece that you need. And it's something that I teach my clients how to do. And most of them say to me, I've never done that before, and I didn't even know, that you could do it. So it not only helps you hit your goal, it helps you hit it faster, and it helps you correct course when you need to. The next really big piece, if you really want to increase your sales and do a stellar job, is you've got to make sales a priority. And the only way to do that is to master your calendar. Time management. People talk about time management all the time. I have a friend who talks about making minutes instead of time management. How do I make more minutes to do the things that I want to do? And if sales is one of them, how do I make more minutes? Well, there's only 24 hours in a day. I can't give you any more than that. So what I have to show you instead is how to make more with the time that you have, how to spend the time you have more wisely, how to prioritize so you can do that, and how to make sure that every single solitary day you have time for sales. And then, of course, you need a fail-proof way to track your sales, because most of you said you could not forecast your sales accurately. So if you can't forecast sales accurately, it's because you're not tracking the right things. So we have to figure out, first of all, on the lead gen end of it, of all the leads we generate, how many of them move to the next step, which is qualify, and from qualify, how many of them move to the next step, which is verifying and determining what has to happen next. It could be where you write your proposals and all of that, and then what has to happen to get it to move to where you can do the closing work, and then what has to happen in order to make it close and you collect money. And most people stop there, but that's not the end of the sale. We have to deliver flawlessly, and we have to grow that customer and get referrals. And you need a fail-proof way to track all of that. How are you doing that now? If you're using a CRM to track your sales, would you write CRM into the chat? If you're using a spreadsheet to track your sales, would you write spreadsheet into the chat? If you're not tracking your sales, just put not. All right, so I've got a few people using a CRM. And a lot of the CRMs really don't do what you need them to do, which is, unfortunate. But can you forecast accurately out of your CRM? And when somebody said, what's a CRM? And I think they're joking, but just in case, it's a customer relationship management software. And it's a software that will allow you to keep track of everything that is a sales opportunity or in your sales funnel, which some people call a pipeline. So those things, those can be helpful softwares, but they can also be useless softwares. All right. Then the other thing that you need really to be stellar at sales is good sales skills. And most of you told me that you learn sales just by watching others, a little bit by mentor, maybe reading a book. Yeah, maybe you haven't had any formal training whatsoever. But again, just like in sports, you need some training, right? And then you need to practice. And then you need feedback from a coach. So you've got to get yourself some sales skills. What are you doing right now to get yourself some sales skills? Type that in. Are you reading a book, taking a course, shadowing somebody who's an expert at sales? What are you doing right now to get yourself some sales skills? Listening to me, thank you. Reading a book, recently I took a course, okay? So people are doing some different things, and of course one of the things that you can do to get some sales skills is take the class that I'm going to offer to you at the end of this webinar. Some of you on the line have already taken it. Oh, somebody's reading Your Best Just Got Better by Jason Womack. Great book, great book. Lots of great sales books out there, by the way. My dad wrote a couple of them. One is called Strategic Sales, which is how you position yourself for a complex sale. One is called Conceptual Selling, which is about how you make a sales call, how you prepare for that sales call, and how you make a sales call. And one is called Selling Machine, which is about how you manage sales. So those are some great books that you can read. Somebody out there said they took a Miller-Heiman course and it was excellent. Well, thank you. So sales skills are important. You need to get them some way. You've got to shadow somebody. You got to learn from somebody. You got to read something, but you need some sales skills. You got to know how to generate leads and how to network. You've got to know how to qualify those leads. You've got to know how to handle objections, and you've got to know how to close the deal. Once it's closed, you have to know what kind of communication you need to continue having with your customer so that you can get referrals and you can grow the business. So you need those skills. So what should I do, you're asking? What should I do, Alice, if I'm ready to learn and I want to coach? What should I do? Well, I'm going to give you something that you can do. And that something is take a class that I'm offering, if you'd like. And I'm going to, in one moment, show you where to go. Now, I'm going to send each and every one of you an email so that you can have all this information and I don't have to spend time selling to you on the webinar, which is another thing I hate about webinars. People put on these webinars and tell you they're going to teach you something. They don't teach you anything. They talk about themselves the whole time, and then the rest of the whole time they sell to you. I'm not going to do that. You're all very smart people, and if you can if you need some sales skills and you need a coach, I am available at a very affordable price with this new training program that is online. And so this is the page, and I'm going to send it to you in an email so you don't need to worry about that. It's called Sales Success Training with Alice Hyman. Is anybody on the line? I know there's a few who's already taken the class that would like to type in something that they learned in the class that was useful for them, and I'll read that out. All right, I've got one person who just typed in, I learned how to make more time for selling. Excellent. I'm glad that you learned that because that's really important. But even once you make more time for selling, what do you do in that time slot? So I put all this time on my calendar and I'm going to go out and sell. Now, what should I do during that time? Well, there's an equal amount of networking and prospecting that has to be done. There's online prospecting that needs to be done. The networking is the in-person prospecting. If you're doing your own marketing, that's got to be in the mix. So you've got to generate leads in some way. You've got to prepare for sales calls, then go on the sales calls, do the follow-up, write the proposals. There's so many things. So once you get that time blocked on your calendar, then you really have to know what specifically to do with that time. Oh, and Judy said, I learned how to focus on one market at a time. One of the things I always say to the people, the business owners and salespeople I'm working with is, if you're selling to everyone, you're selling to no one. Pick one and go after it, and then pick another and go after it. Be specific. It's much easier. So on this sales page, it tells you everything you need to know about the class. It's 8 weeks long. You can see the different companies who have taken the class. It tells you what you're going to learn, and it tells you what what other people learned and what every single module has in it. So you can decide for yourself whether or not you want to register. Now, there is a register button, and when you click it, it's pretty simple. You can just go to the registration page, and that's right here. And you can see that the price is on, whoops, I got to refresh my page, sorry, is $1,299 for the 8 weeks of class, plus coaching sessions with me, and a bunch of other great stuff. And again, I'm going to send this to you in writing so you don't have to remember it all right now. So if you sign up in the next 24 to 48 hours, we're also going to give you my LinkedIn training for free. So that's going to be the bonus. So again, I'm not going to sit here and sell it to you. I want you to go to this page and learn for yourself whether you want to take it. If you want to talk to me about it, that's fantastic. I'll be happy to talk to you about it some more. But in those 8 weeks, you are going to get everything you need to be a success with sales, everything you need to grow your business, and probably more. So that's the end of the webinar today. I thank you so much for coming, and I will stay on the line for just a couple more minutes to answer any specific questions that you have. So if you want to type those questions in, go ahead and I will answer them. Somebody asked, can you train a group of salespeople, 6 to 8 people? Absolutely, I do that all the time. I'm happy to do it. I can do it online, or I can do it in person at your location, or you can come to my location. I have a beautiful training room here. Another one is, what is your opinion of the group that is selling cold calling is dead? So I know the cold calling is dead, people, and there's a lot of people who actually are saying that, and they're good friends of mine. I do believe that some amount of cold calling can work. And I think that for certain industries like staffing, the staffing people go out into the neighborhoods where there are a lot of businesses and knock on doors and leave their cards, and that works for them. But it doesn't work in most businesses. And cold calling on the phone, although you will get results, it used to be like you'd make 100 calls and get maybe 10 people to talk to you, and out of those 10, maybe 5 would go a little bit further, and then you'd maybe have 2 sales. It's dramatically different now. 100 calls will not get you 10 people to talk to. Cold calling is hard work. It's very inefficient, and especially for salespeople who are at a higher level. I don't recommend doing a lot of cold calling. But that doesn't mean you don't call people you don't know. Cold calling to me is, I've got a list. I'm going to pick up the phone and call every single person on that list. If they don't answer, I'm going to leave a voicemail, or some people don't leave a voicemail, which I think is crazy. I mean, if you leave a voicemail, at least you have a little chance that someone will call you back. So I'm going to call this entire list and see what I get. I don't even know if the people on this list are qualified. I got this list from somewhere. Maybe it was a demographic list, or I did some research to pull the list, so they're somewhat qualified. And I'm just going to call down the list. Okay, well, you're going to get what you're going to get, and I think it's going to be highly inefficient. Now, I might take a list of people who qualify by certain parameters, geographic or size of company, or business owner type of company, something like that, and pick 25 off that list. And then what I would do is take those 25 and research them. I'd figure out as much as I could about them online. Then I might even call somebody at their company and say, hey, I really want to learn some more about your company. It could be a salesperson, could be an HR person. I'm interested in your company. I've been following your company. I've read all about it. I've been on your website. I put up a Google alert so I learn everything about this company. And when you learn a little bit about them, then pick up the phone and start calling them, or send out some emails that are personal, not just some standard email that's going to go in the spam, or through MailChimp. MailChimp or Constant Contact, or any of those, they're great. Infusionsoft, they're all great, but you're just, again, sending out masses of stuff, hoping a little bit comes back. It works to some degree, so I'm not telling you to stop, but I'd rather research a list. And then what I do with that list of 25 is I'd say to everybody I know, do you know anybody on this list? Do you know these people? I wouldn't ask them all 25 at once. They'd be overwhelmed. Or I'd go on LinkedIn, and I'd look up the people, and I'd see if any of my friends and colleagues knew them, and I would ask for an introduction. And the introduction would be something like, my friend Alice has been following your company. She works with companies just like yours to help them increase sales. She's wondering if you'd have time for a conversation to help her learn more about your company and see if there's a fit. I'd ask them to introduce me in that way. So I think that if I talk to 25 people that way versus 500 that I've cold called, I'm going to have a much higher close ratio. And I'm living proof of it, and so are my clients. So I think that cold calling is dead, or just taking a list and calling down the list. Calling people that you don't know is something we always do in sales, but I prefer to have an introduction. So I may not know them, but someone will give me an email introduction, we'll go to coffee together, they'll send a LinkedIn introduction, they'll do something to help them know me. The other thing that I do is I put myself out there personally, and my personal brand is online. So if people see a note from me and they're not sure if they want to talk to me yet, they can go online and learn about me some more before they decide whether they want to talk to me or not. And I get a ton of business off of LinkedIn because people see that I'm constantly sharing good content. And so they want to talk to me. So I think that cold calling in some ways is dead. But there's a lot of things you can do to help you meet people that you don't know, that is not just a list that you're calling down. So I hope that answered your question a little bit. All right, so let's see. I think that looks like it. There aren't any more questions. So I'm going to be signing off now. You can email me, alice@aliceheiman.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer questions there. I'm on Twitter. A lot of people talk to me on Twitter. They like Twitter. That's great. I'm on Facebook. Find me there. Ask me your sales questions. I want to help you increase sales. And if you really want a process and you want some education, if you want to practice with feedback from a coach, then I want you to sign up for my class. And it's worth every penny you'll pay for it. You'll get tons of great things. You're going to find that it will be worth its weight in gold, and it will help you really become the success that you want to with your selling. So have a great day, everybody, and I hope I'll see you soon.